Hello, everyone. In this session, we are focusing on the commands in terminal, some of the important commands that you need to do it when you're learning Linux operating system. Our focus again is on Ubuntu, and we are doing on Debian. Most of the commands that we are doing are similar to other distribution, but there are specific commands that we are doing which works only on Ubuntu. The first one is the ls. I want to show you that ls, for example, it will list the folders, files that you have. If you do ls-ls, then you can list it based on the specific criteria that you can see here. For example, here it shows me the read-write permission that we're going to focus in later. What is that one? So information about the folder when it created, and here is total of the uh, files that you can see on each folder. This is about ls. ls, it has many arguments. If you want to see a man of ls, you see that there is like ls-a that shows all, ls- capital A all moves all, uh, dash B, dash capital B, dash C. You see that you can read all of these definitions. I don't want to focus on each of them, like dash I shows the I nodes. You see there are different switches for LS. Usually common one is ls-l that shows on the list. If you want to do it in this way, then you use ls. The other one that we have is echo, and echo is for printing out something in the output. For example, echo, uh, let's start learning Linux. Okay, so then there are some options here that you can do it. Actually, if I want to show it, should be like that. Then it will show it in the output. So that's one way you can show it. As I said, there are some options here. For example, if you want to show it in different lines, then you can use echo. For example, this is first line. Okay, then you can use backslash go to second line and say, okay, this is, for example, second line, and I go to back second line and use the backslash and third line. This way, you can go to different lines and it still is the same as this one, you know. So this backslash keep the line for the next line. And this is like continuous line of the first one and goes to the third one. So it is especially useful when you're doing commands, for example, long command, and you don't know go to the next line or not. So you can use backslash and go to the next line and continue your command. The next one that we have here is control operator. Basically is um, like control operator, it can be and, logical and, or and, or it can be or piping, or it can be in a parentheses like that, round parentheses. You can use this way. For example, the good example that I can bring it here. For example, you want a ls root folder like that. You don't have permission. Sudo ls root, right? So it shows you this one. But something happens that you want to run two commands together. For example, a good example is going to be ls root and you want to do ls home, list the home folder. So you see that both of them, this is your first one and this is your second one that you're listing or you're using and here. This is something that usually when we want to do it, to run it two commands, we execute this way. And the other commands that we have, it is logical and um, like if the first one execute and then it goes to the second one. Like this. So if I make my user sudoer, for example, true, logical and ls home. That means that the first one should be true, then run home. Okay, so if the first one is false, then let's do this one. Look, it doesn't run the second one. So this one should be true. This one also should be true. Then it will return the output. And then we have logical or, which is like that. Either one is true, then you have an output. For example, false, logical or, and then ls home. So then it doesn't really matter what the output is. So you have, it doesn't really matter which one is true, so then you have output. So this one is true, then you have the output. Then we have environment variable. There are some special variables that are defined in shell and are needed by program while execution. So environment variable, env. So you see that now I have these environment variables. Like by default, shell is located under bin bash. Color terms are true color. See that these are, it seems that default parameters that you have in the operating system. Um, the other one that we have is sometimes it happens that you want to check that where you are. Where you are, PWD, I am here, PWD. And the other command that, which is very useful, echo $$. So if you echo $$, it will print out the PIE for current shell. So the P process ID for this current shell is 4314. And this is going to be different. For example, if you go on the bash and then do echo, let's see what is that number. Echo $$. So you see that that number will change. If you exit from bash and then do echo $$, you see that that number comes back to 4314. Export is a command that you can export some of the variable and something useful for environment variable. So a good example is like that. For example, you define a variable and this is like Linux is fun, right? This is my variable. And then you can use and echo this variable like that. So usually variable in Linux is to start with $. So you can call this one var2 and look now should be, oops, should be print out in the output. So you see Linux is fun. If I export now var2 and then do echo $$. So you see that I am here under This environment now, I turn to bash, and then I do echo $sign. So that should be another number because I'm now under that my PID will be changed 43 to 68. Now, if you do echo now the variable, because now you are in the bash in different environment. Now we want to test that we can read that variable or not. Var2. So you see that still I can recall that variable because I exported this one. So now I can use it also as in bash. Let me clear my screen. History is very good command. Look, you want to see that what commands you enter so far. So history. So if I exit from here, that's bash. History maybe here is very long. You see that? The commands that I have entered so far. Then we have also bash history, which is configuration of your history lays and some stuff like that. So if I go under cat uh, bash history, bash underline history. So you see that I have here uh, the history of a bash, right? So I can clear it very easy. So if you just use this way, like arrow command to output, uh, then it will clear out that bash history. So if you do cat, look, you don't have any output here. You name, sometimes it happens that you want to check the operating system version. Uname -a shows everything. Like this is Linux 1.22.04. That's this version. And you see that that's the March 30. And that time, 2022, that's the architecture. And this is like a general information you can see about this operating system. Manual. So manual of anything. I mentioned this one before, like ls. So you can find a lot of information about ls. Anything you can manage. For example, uname. Uname what we have -n, node name -r. Print the kernel release. So you can always use that one. With q, you can quit from this one. Piping is used when you want to send the output of one program to another one. For example, the message is like that, right? This is the message. That's the message that you're receiving on Linux operating system. Now I want to do like this, the message and pipe it less, shortly less. So then I can use my space. Look, press space to go to the next page, next page, next page, and then until you go to end of this one. So this way you can see page by page. Sometimes it happens that you want to redirect the output stream to a file. So we call that one as a redirection. And clear it. Like ls-l is like that, right? But you want to save this output in a file. So you write it like this, ls-l, write it or redirect this output to, for example, list.txt file. So now ls, look, you have list.txt file. And if you cat list.txt, then you can see this output. Clear it. Then we have concat. We are using concat to see the inside the file, or sometimes you're merging two files together to make it one file. For example, the good example I mentioned in the previous command, you want to see the output of this file, cat list.txt. That's the output of the file. But it happens that you have two files. For example, let me um, let me click cp from list.txt and call it list1.txt. Okay. So now I have two files. Look, and I can concat list1.txt to list.txt. So it's going to be a big um, file that contains two output of the files. Then we have an L, which is used to number the lines in the files. For example, again, we look at this list.txt file, nl list.txt file. So you see the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's very good if you want, for example, you have a configuration file and you want to see which line has, for example, error, and then you can refer to that line. Let me clear my screen, and head. Head shows the first 10 lines of that file. For example, head list.txt. That's top head of that file. Okay, let me show you a very, for example, head var log authentication log. Var log, and then we should have authentication log. Good. We have here first 10 lines of that file. But if you want to see cat var log authentication log, let's see. You see that's very huge file, right? So you just look at that uh, first 10 lines. If you want to see the end of that line, we call it tail. So tail of, like sometimes you say tail dash F, the tail of that file. For example, the tail of file of var log the message. But if you want to see um, last 5 lines of that file, you see, you can use number sometimes. Var log, for example, syslog. So last 5 of syslog is going to be this. Last tail dash f var log and the message. This one shows the last file of the message. Now, sometimes some files they have a log, and it is going to be updated, and then you cannot go and open it each time to see that which line is updated. So if you use dash F, it shows the updated lines in that file. That means it always shows the um, last lines that you have in that file, end of that file. Less, and then we have, uh, let me clear, and we have less. So less, like the message, I mentioned this one before, like if you want to go page by page, then it's going to be easier to see that file less. In the opposite one, we have more also, more. So then you see that you have more is coming, and then you can see that file. Join. Sometimes it happens that you want to join the lines of two files which share a common field of data. For example, you have two files and then you want to join them. Let me clear it. I have two files here, list1.txt, list2.txt. If I use join list1.txt, list1.txt, and then it will join those two files based on the similar criteria that they have. It is like joining the first row of each file and then add together and create one single file. It seems that look here, we have desktop and then it started here, we have that desktop. So we have repeated 2 times. Touch is for creating an empty file. Touch, for example, 1. Look now, cat 1 doesn't have anything, but you can put output like write something in this file. You can use nano or you can say, okay, test, send it to 1. Okay, echo things, sorry. Echo test, send it to 1. Then look at 1, it includes test, right? So this way you can touch create an empty file and then you can with the echo create some text inside the file. Then we have CP, and CP is for copying file. Let me clear my. So it is like that. LS, I want to copy first, for example, this list.txt. So you can use this way. CP list.txt, and this one is a destination file. Like put it under this one. So now if you cat list.to.txt is similar to list.text. So you're copying. Also, we are having move. For example, you want to move this file to music folder or document folder. Let's do it on document. So you can use mv move list.txt to documents folder. So look now, you don't have list.txt here, but if you do switch your folder to document, here, look, you have list.txt. rm command, removing command. So like I wanna remove this file, remove list.txt file. Oops, txt file. ls, I don't have this file. So then it happens that you want to remove it completely, remove dash rf. So it's very dangerous command because you may delete the file system. So you should be very cautious when you're using rm dash rf. So also you can use man rm. So you see that there are some option here. F is force dash I. And here we have dash R, which is recursive. You can use V dash V also for verbose. That gives you more information. Archiving and compressing files. So you can use tar, zip, gzip bzip2 for gzip, bzip2 for compressing, also zip for compressing. For archiving, you can use tar or tar and different levels. They have different levels. For example, better compression usually is bzip2, and if you want to have a bigger file size, then zip it gives you a bigger file size. Usually we are looking for best compression. But zip is very common because you have zip also in Windows operating system. It's very standard way of compression. Like we just coming to upper folder, look, cd dot coming to upper folder and ls, and I am here with these two files. I wanna create a zip file, which is never the name of the zip file. I wanna put it my configuration.zip file. And then I want to put list1.txt inside this zip file. Look now, this zip file, it includes my list1.txt. If you want to use a directory under your zip file, add a directory, for example, this directory, then you need to use zip-r. Like I'm gonna create another one, my zip, my files, for example, .zip, and I add, for example, a downloads folder under that. So it will add that file as well, that folder as well. So to unzip it, usually we use unzip. For example, let me create a folder. mkdir, it will create a folder, for example, test. And why I'm creating folder to show you that, how does it work. I move this zip folder, this one, or maybe this one, doesn't really matter. My conf, for example, my conf to this test folder. So cd test now is test contains this one, right? Now use unzip this my conf.zip. So look ls, so it unzipped that file, and that file includes this file that we created in the previous step. So gzip is again the same gzip mylog, like you can create. Let me clear my screen. So gzip is again the same thing. You can use gzip, the name of the file, txt, list.txt. And also to decompress that gzip, use gunzip and the name of the zip file. bzip2 is the same also, bzip2, the name of the file that you want to, for example, list1.txt. And then if you want to unzip it, look now I have bzip2, and then if I want to unzip it, I use bunzip2, the name of this file. Okay. This is very easy. So I just skip rather than that. So we talk about redirecting IO also. There are some points here. So like ls, we learned that, okay, ls shows that list of files. So if you want, for example, send this one to another file, you can do it like that. It's ls dash L, for example, send it to list file. And then cat list, it includes these files. Sometimes it happens that you want to redirect your file to null, uh, to empty file. So then it's going to be like that. For example, ls-l redirected to device null. So that doesn't do anything, like it's just an empty file. We have append. Sometimes it happens that you want to append something to your file. It is like that. For example, ls-l appended. It has two of this right arrow key. Append it to previous file, like list. So now if you cat the list, so it's going to be like two of these outputs. And the last one that we have here for the commands is x arguments. Is a Unix command which can be used to build and execute the commands from standard input. So like this is a very useful command that let's do one like this. 1, 2, 3. So I have here echo 1, 2, 3. So if I echo it is like 1, 2, 3, right? So now I pipe it with x args and dash p touch. Okay, so touch 1, 2, 3. So is trying to um, reach to 1, 2, 3. So you see that argument actually execute 1, 2, 3. So this is basically what you need for this part. I hope this has been informative for you guys, and thanks for watching.